Hello, and welcome to a new form of content that will be showing up on this channel. It is my unscripted show.
Luke's unscripted show that he does as often as he can.
Or LUSTHDAOAHC. This particular one is going to be some of the most useful self-improvement things that I've learned through these past 3 years, Maddie's life, of reading these books. This is going to be part 1, and we're going to go over the most useful things I've learned for environment and tactics. Starting with environment. The most important factor is having to do with distractions. You want to make sure you limit the amount of distractions that you can come across in your environment so you can maintain focus. If you wanted to have a writing environment, you would make sure that you had no pinball machines or popcorn makers around, because those would distract you from writing. If you don't have the chance to be distracted, then you can't help but stay focused, which is a huge important part. That's something from Willpower Doesn't Work, as well as plenty of other of these books. Distractions are killer. Dopamine is a killer. And you can either get your healthy dopamine, which you get from moving toward and accomplishing your goals, or you can get this little artificial dopamine that you get from, playing Frogger. Okay? So that's the first element, distractions. The next thing has to do with a rhythm. And mainly, it's thinking about how to get your environment in a place where it is figured out in your mind as the place that you're going to be doing your focusing in. Okay? So that has to do with your circadian rhythm as well as having habits. From the circadian rhythm dimension, there is a spectrum, and you're either a morning person or you're a night person or you're somewhere in between. That would be when you are able to focus best. Okay, and I can leave up a link to Dan Pink's When website circadian rhythm test that will teach you or show you, based on how you answer, what kind of person you are and how best to optimize what you're trying to be doing with your environment. For me, I'm a morning person, so I have to wake up in the morning. And this is when having the cue that sets the habit into place is the most important for me to start my focus time. If you're a morning person, when you wake up, you're going to want to set the tone right away. And here is how Admiral McRaven recommends that you do it in his book, Make Your Bed. So that's what I do. I make my bed right away. Okay? And so that sets this sort of to-do tone in my mind. Then I'll go do the dishes. That's another sort of to-do tone I'm setting. And then as soon as I enter my environment, my work environment, for the first time that morning, I start on my work, right? And you do that often enough, you habituate it and set a sort of picture in your mind of your environment that creates it as a place where you are going to be doing this sort of focus work, this sort of work, right? Optimized to your circadian rhythm. That's how you craft your environment. Using your circadian rhythm, setting the proper tone, setting the tone for the environment, and then making sure that there are as little distractions as possible by completely and entirely removing the option for them. The next part is about tactics. Hey, that's weird. It got darker and my beard grew. There are 3 tactics that I'm going to be sharing with you. The first one, the 5-second rule. All you need to know how to do is count backwards, and you will be soaring. In the book, The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, it is described as follows. Count down from 5 down to 0. And once you get to 0, you'll have picked an action to do at 0, and you'll do it. There's no way around it. It's like a psychological trick. So, for example, you want to get out of bed in the morning, and you're feeling really groggy. You're just laying there, but start your countdown and say, at 0, I'm getting up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, and you'll get up. You can't not get up. And it's like a psychological thing. But this tactic works for just about anything. I already mentioned getting out of bed, but it's also for if you have to go do a speech, right? And you're sitting backstage and you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to go out there and talk to everybody. But you just start, hey, I got to get out there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, and you'll do it. Or if you have to talk to your boss, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you'll go. And you'll head over there and you'll do it. It's a great psychological trick to use. On to tactic number 2. Interrupt coalescing. This is a computer science term, and it keeps you from being interrupted constantly throughout the day. Here's how you use it. For something that you have to do regularly throughout the day, for example, checking your email. Instead of checking your email every time you get one, and then responding and sending it off, and then you wait and you get another email, all while you're trying to focus and do something, instead of getting the emails all the time, you break it up so that you get your emails, you work on your emails once a day, or maybe twice a day if you get too many. So you would let your inbox fill up through all the emails you're getting until you get to that time when you've decided to do your emails, and then you blast through them all. Otherwise, you're multitasking all day long, and they say multitasking is like one of the worst things for focus and productivity. So interrupt coalescing. You coalesce those interruptions by picking points for those regularities to be shoved into just one time to do them. So this works for email. It works for doing the dishes, per se. Now, this is my example. I like to do my dishes in the morning, right? But that necessarily means that they pile up throughout the rest of the day. And my significant other doesn't currently approve of that. So that is what interrupt coalescing is all about. Cutting down on those distractions and keeping yourself able to focus without having to constantly multitask, checking your email, and doing those darn dishes all day long. The third tactic, put your alarm clock on the other side of the room. When the alarm goes off, you have to wake up and walk across the room to turn it off. So that starts your blood flowing, right? Gets your body moving and gets you active and starts your day already. Instead of, giving you that chance to just snooze it right there, you have to walk all the way across the room and then decide that you're going to snooze it and lay back down. Which, never do that. What a bad precedent to set. So you get up, you push that button, and you've started your day. And that would be for morning people, right? If you wanted to wake up early and that's when you started your day. Morning people like me. But if you were a night person, or you have your focus time best done at night, say 10 o'clock or whatever you night people do, you have your alarm clock in your environment that you want to start doing your work in, right? So when your alarm goes off, at that time, you get in here, you're primed by having that alarm be something that consistently happens at 10 o'clock, and you walk in, and then you turn your alarm off. So you've started movement, and you've gotten it so that you're primed to do your work when that alarm goes off, and you've begun your environment ritual, right? So alarm clock, third tactic, alarm clock across the room. So it incites movement to begin the action and begin the focus that you're interested in. And it works for anywhere on their circadian rhythm spectrum, So the 3 tactics are, number 1, the 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Start your action. It's psychological. It works. The second one is interrupt coalescing. Taking all those little distractions that you would be having throughout the day, those emails, and you move it into one. And you do it at, 8 o'clock in the morning, you go through all your emails, you get through all of them. Or if you get too many emails, you do it twice during the day, right? So that you're not constantly interrupted by those emails or those dishes. And the third one is moving that alarm clock across the room so that when you're woken up, you have to move to turn it off. You've already begun some action. You've already begun what you're doing. Especially if it's the nighttime, you do it in your separate environment so that when that goes off, you walk into your environment, you're primed, you hit the alarm, and you begin. It's perfect. Yeah, I hope you guys like this new format. It should get better as I practice it more and more often, but I needed to get more videos out because, especially right now, I'm working on Maps of Meaning by Jordan Peterson, and it's a really difficult book, but I love it, so I really want to get it right. So I'm working really hard on that, and that's taking quite a long time. So these will help to keep videos coming for you guys. So that will be hopefully useful to you. Some other things I wanted to mention. There is a podcast I was just featured on, and I can link that up. We talked about some parenting and some philosophy, some of my backstory, so that's pretty cool. So don't be distracted in those environments. Keep those rhythms optimized. Use that 5-second rule to act on things that you don't want to do. Coalesce all those interruptions so you're not distracted throughout the day. And keep that alarm clock on the other side of the room so you have to move to begin what you're going for. I hope you enjoyed this show and be ready for some more to come out. Until next time.